Welcome back. My name's Dave, and this is Mercury Saturn, my N-scale layout. Today we're going to talk about 3D printing. Specifically, is it cost effective? And this is my opinion only, not anybody else's. Sorry, I'm just setting up. I'm setting up a camera here. So what we're going to do is talk specifically about how much does it cost to get into 3D printing. Is that cost an effective way of populating your layout with rolling stock, with buildings, with detailed pieces? I have a strong feeling about this, but again, and I am not in any way supported by any of the companies I mentioned in this video. I have bought all of these machines myself. I don't receive anything from them, so this is just my personal opinion. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch to, I'm just going to switch over to the work table that we're going to be using, which is this one here. And it's got 3D items on it. It's got all my notes on it. And we're going to talk specifically about the different kinds of printing and how I go about doing it. And again, this is how I do it. It's not the way everybody does it, but it's the way I do it. So if you give me a second, I'm just going to switch from this camera to, and I have to keep remembering which one it is, to this camera. And I'll be right over there. So, what do we have here? I'm just checking. I have another monitor that I can check over here. So, what you see here are purchased. This is a purchased boxcar. This is a purchased boxcar. This is a 3D printed boxcar. This is a 3D printed boxcar. So, where should we start? Well, let's just start with the machinery of 3D printing. If you're not aware, there are two kinds of 3D printing: a resin printer and a filament printer. They both have their advantages. They both have their disadvantages. So first I'm going to talk about the equipment I have. I have the Elegoo Mars 5 Ultra, which costs $364.99 Canadian. If you're in the States, it's much less than that. I also have a filament printer, which is the Bambu Lab PS1 with the AMS system, which costs, get this, in Canadian money, $999. So that is a big purchase. So it had better be able to do a lot for me, because at that cost, it's, and I always save up for these things. So that's what I'm doing. My recommendation is, if you're using N-scale, then the Elegoo Mars 5 is probably good enough. It does not have a big build plate, but if you're doing N-scale, most of the stuff you'll do is tiny, so it won't really matter. If you're an HO scale modeler, I would suggest buying their Mars Ultra 16K, which is $679. Sorry, I got my glasses on and they're meant for seeing far and not reading. $679.99 Canadian. And I am currently saving to get that one because I would like to be able to print bigger items on the resin printer. And that one has all the bells and whistles. Now, I have owned, I'm trying to count now. Okay, I had 1, 2, 3. I've had 3 filament printers, and I've had about 5 resin printers. I'm not going to mention the names of those companies because none of them worked well. And but I've been 3D printing for, I think this channel's 3 or 4 years old, 3 years old maybe. I've been pretty much printing 3D since the beginning. And only recently has the technology become good enough that you don't have to have a master's degree in 3D printing to actually do the 3D printing. Both of the printers I have, the Bambu and the Elegoo, are pretty well plug-in. They just do the job. There are still some errors, there are still some failed prints, but I'll talk about that later. So that's what you have for printing. Now, there is no post-processing needed with filament. Once it comes off the printer, it's done, it's ready, it's on its way. But with the resin printers, you have to post-process the prints. And that means soaking them in IPA, washing them down, and then hitting them with UV light to harden the resin. I have the post-processing equipment called, it's a Mercury X Bundle from Elegoo, and that was $218. So you see we're well over $500 just in resin printing, and that's pretty good. Now, Elegoo has just come out with a filament printer that from what I've seen online for reviews is a pretty good purchase, and the Centauri Carbon printer from Elegoo, and it's for $49.99 Canadian. I don't know what it is in the States, but that's it. What you also need is a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with it. So, quickly, you'll need IPA, which is isopropyl alcohol, which most of us use in other ways in our bottling. Gloves, a respirator, and then you need the consumables. Filament costs around $23 to $24 Canadian for 1 kg. Amazon sells a pack of 4 on plastic. I made a note to say this to you, on plastic spools. If you have the AMS, it's really picky, and it doesn't like cardboard spool holders. It just doesn't like them, and so I stay away from that. And that the Amazon, the 4-pack is $78.99, so that's quite a savings. I think it's, if you buy the filament separately, it comes out to like 90 something, and if you buy the 4-pack, it's only $78.99. Resin costs around $25 per kilogram, and there are all sorts of different types of resin. I use Elegoo's exclusively, so it goes with their machines. So let's talk about the models, because you've been staring at them for a couple of minutes here. I'm just going to slide the cardboard out of the way here with all of these things on it. Hold on. I'm just going to move my notes so I can do this. So this, okay, I'll find you one that isn't done. And I'll zoom in so, oops, this camera's on a really loose fit here. Okay, that way, this way. Okay. So this was printed on my Bambu Lab, and it was printed, and I would recommend, if you're going to do this with especially with boxcars, because they weigh next to nothing, so you need to put some weights in them. This is the chassis for it. This is the body for it, and they just literally, I'm trying to make sure I do it on camera because I'm looking over my shoulder. That just snaps in there like that. And of course, what you need then are trucks. I buy these in bulk. I believe they're is it micro trays or micro trays? The coupler is built onto the bogie, and I print the chassis with holes in them. I take a pin vise and just clean out the holes so that the pin, and then, yeah, I'm trying to keep it in the camera for you. You can see, all right. Now that one Let me put this. There's one. Is it this one? Okay, this one's got a weight in it, so it's substantially heavier than this one. I printed 9 of these. I'll just flip them over so you can see 9 of these. All right. So I went online to Otter Valley Hobbies, which is a Canadian online supplier of HO and N scale equipment, diesels, freight cars, etc., and found that one of these purchased is $41.99. 9 times that is $377.91 Canadian. To go back, the Elegoo printer is $364.99 Canadian. So if I went out and bought 9 of these, like this one, this one here, 9 of these, I could have paid for a printer. And that's the first benefit. But this doesn't finish this print. You need to buy the bogies. You need to buy decals. What else did you do? Right? So, okay, so the decals in N scale cost $6.75. The Microtrains trucks are about $6 a pair, or $97.99 for a 10-pack. And then if it's a body-mounted coupler, you're looking at $24.99, and I didn't put down how many that was. I can't remember. It might have been 10 again. I'm not sure. So that adds up over time. Like, you're still paying for that kind of stuff. Now, the detail you get with a resin printer is pretty good. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna flip this over here. We'll stick this down. I'm gonna move that out of the way. So this one is hot off the printer. In fact, it hasn't been processed. It hasn't been exposed to UV light yet, so it's still fairly soft. Athearns makes a 50-foot boxcar. This is not an Athearns. This is the Microscale weathered. I bought a 4-pack of these because this is the delivery of. Sorry, I'm gonna move that over there. This particular weathered car is for pulp and paper, so it will be on the layout paper mill once the track work is finished in the paper mill itself. I don't remember what this cost me, but I bought 4 of those. The detail, like the physical printing detail between this one and this one, is not bad. It's almost identical in terms of the quality of the fineness of the paneling and the doors, the roof. The roof on this one is different than the roof here, obviously. The undercarriage has the framework and brake cylinders and stuff on it, so it's not bad either. So again, I printed 4 of these, and they were, as I said, say $32.99, $33 a crack. 4 of them would have cost me $131.96, and that's for Athearns. And they are not, I don't want to say this out loud, I guess, I mean, they're not the most detailed cars on the planet. And if you're a rivet counter, if everything has to be absolutely prototypical, then yes, buy your cars. Buy your box cars, buy your flat cars, everything. And or if you're like me and you're a cheap Scotsman, once you've bought the tools, you can make as many as you want. Now, most of my models come from the web, and by that I mean I find files on the web to print. So right now I'm working on getting more coal hoppers or gravel hoppers for the mine that I have. I have two styles of hopper. This is the snowplow. It's just been painted yellow. I still have to do the rest of the painting on it. That I ordered special from a gentleman on I wrote that down, didn't I? Dark Wolf 3D. That's a Facebook, and you go on there, you leave a little message. If they don't already have it, you'll find somebody on that Facebook group that can actually model you one and send you one, which would be expensive buying just one. I paid the gentleman $20 a crack for these trucks, mostly because you can't find them in N scale. He actually modeled the thing, made it. It's a one-off, and they're gorgeous models, absolutely gorgeous models. I also got, now I think this was either Cults 3D or 60 or Thingiverse. I'm not sure. I think it was Cults. There's a gentleman who is making 60-foot flat cars. Now you can see that's as light as a feather. Well, he has designed a weight that goes on the bottom of this thing. And it is, I assume, laser cut by the company. Alright, just going to take my looking glasses off, and this you have to, the tolerances are so tight that you really have to be careful putting the thing together. And that weight now, he does not sell the weight. You have to go to a website called Send, Cut, Send. You give them a drawing and all the specs of this thing, thickness of the metal, length, size, the whole works. You can pick the material. Oh, I got one here that's, I think, turned around. Yeah, it's turned around. That's why it wouldn't go on. There, turning it around makes the big difference. And I'm pretty sure I've had to purchase this, and if I purchased it, it was from Cults 3D. So I'm now going to have to buy body-mounted couplers and just trucks with no couplers on them to finish these off. When you purchase, I'm saying purchase, and I'm sure it was a purchase, there are 3 different flatbeds that are modeled. A flatbed that has a load of wheels, railroad wheels for it, with the appropriate holder for the wheels, and then also one that is it holds logs or anything else that you, and it's got bunks that stick up from it. And so I have purchased, I think I purchased 10 of these brass plates, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember exactly how much they cost them. If I can find that information, I will put it in the comments below. Here again is a flat car, and the only way to give this weight is to put a load on the flat car. Okay. Now the other thing is finding things that are completely bespoke, completely custom. And here's one. This is one I have hunted for my mine for a little while. Cat makes a huge water truck. A truck that's upside down to you. Let me see if I can figure out how to make it. There, we'll make that right side up. That'll make it a little easier. And this is solid resin. And the reason it's printed in resin, there's quite a bit of detail on this thing. Now this I found on a website where they only sell the models. And a lot of the models are sold for game artwork and stuff like that. But if you do a lot of hunting around, you can find it. So I finally found this and printed it out. Now, I can't remember how much it cost, but it could be $17 to $25 for the model. And all you get is the files. You don't get the model. You just get the files. But the reality is, if I wanted to have 5 of these, I could print 5 of them, and it would only cost me $17 in terms of actually having the files. So this is another bespoke thing that you can find if you look around. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the FDM printer and what my downtown is going to look like. And I'm just going to reach across here, and I'm going to flip that over. Is that upside down to you again? Yes, it is. Hold on. I'm gonna just flip it around. And I'm going to focus it so you can see it properly. These are individual buildings, all printed on my Bambu. This is going to be one of the streets in the town area on my layout. Now, somebody is going to be saying, well, where did you get those from? I got them from Kickstarter. And the wonderful thing about 3D printing is you can scale the models. So these models are actually designed for 28mm miniature wargaming. I know that the site, if you go to Kickstarter and type in WOW, W-O-W, and downtown, you might be able to find these. The campaign is over. I bought the campaign, and I have all the buildings that came with the campaign, which is 21 buildings. So this is one place. Reach it across again. Am I upside down? No, I'm right side up. So when it's upside down to me, it's right side up to you. So details all there. All I had to do was do the math to figure out how to convert 28mm scale down to N scale. And so I'm going to have a sort of a shopping area in my town, and I have purchased three models from Walthers. Those are, I'm just going to step out here for a second, just make sure I'm reading this right. I've got them over here on a shelf. Merchants Row 1, 2, and 3. And along with those buildings, I am going to put these in place as well. So this is one shop, a corner shop. And the other thing with 3D printing is if this is not the right corner, you can mirror this thing, turn it the other way, and have it face in the right direction that you want. Right now, this is the door's on the right side, but I could mirror it, have the door on the left side. I'm going to just show you one more so you can see here. Trying to get it. I'll just back out the camera. Sorry, the gimbal that this camera is on is a little jerky. So now I have this, and it is facing door opening on the left, door opening on the right, other buildings in between. So I'll be able to have quite the shopping area with the Walthers kits and these in place. So is it cost effective? I don't know, to be honest. I like the fact that I can build custom products for my layout and have stuff that other people just don't have. That's the way I am. I think that if you go around, you can, like I say, here's a purchased container loader in N scale. Again, I know that you can buy them, but that one has more detail than anything you'll be able to buy online. So altogether, it can be a very expensive upfront cost. Over 2 or 3 years and owning the same machine for that long, the costs drop drastically the more you make. If you want a unit train of say coal cars, then you want 15 of them. Well, do the math. 15 of these, I don't know what they would cost. I didn't look this one up when I was doing the research here. But 15 of these, probably at say $25 to $30 a crack, that's quite a chunk of change. So, and the thing is, originally resin printers, they produced better detail than FDM, but the newer printers, and especially this Ultra 5 that I have, produces, look at the cage work at the end of this particular model. It is just gorgeous. I never was able to print like this with the other resin printers I have. What I do with these to give them weight is I put fishing weights in them, and then I put a load in it of ballast or gravel or something to cover the weights, and that gives these things weight to be able to be good runners on the layout. You've seen me print vehicles, semi-truck, painted and printed. Now, I'm not including the cost of painting these things, because if you're buying models, buildings or whatever, you're probably going to paint them yourself. You're not going to just leave them the bland plastic. So there you are. You've got my 2 cents on 3D printing. I think it is cost effective over the long term. It is not cost effective if you're buying a printer just to do 4 models and that's it. But I have printed garbage bins, tanks, like fuel tanks, propane tanks, all stairs, bridges, culverts, all sorts of stuff, all detailed stuff that I can't run out to my local hobby store and get it. I just can't. I mean, there isn't one even close to me. And so everything I have to buy, I have to include the shipping costs on top of it. Whereas once I have a printer, I can just print them right here in the house and bang, they're done. So anyway, there's my couple of cents worth of opinion on this stuff. Again, it's not for everybody. There is a learning curve in both FDM and resin. Resin does require that you have the safety equipment of gloves and a respirator, and because you're dealing with IPA, which is not the greatest stuff in the world to be exposed to on a daily basis when you're doing lots of printing. So you need those things. But other than that, I think it's worth the money. Personally, I think it's worth the money. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're still getting some people who are subscribing. I really appreciate that. Like, if you what you see is what is okay for you, just hit the like button. That's all that matters. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.